I'm struggling to find an actor for my best written character in my feature film. I don't know why. It's when I wrote it, I was like, oh, somebody's going to have a lot of fun playing this guy, because I mean, he dominates every scene. He's the screenwriting teacher who's full of himself. But you can't help it, but there's a lot of things he's right about and you don't want to admit. And it's like, I wrote him from a place of being so self-critical of me and where I could go if I got things wrong in life. And he reminds me of the villain in my World War II script a little bit, but in the sense of just how it felt to write him. You feel like you're it's like the Jekyll and Hyde thing. You're activating Hyde, and that's the one character I have not been able to cast. And I really think it's like I told somebody on set on the last film shoot about this, and they're like, oh, it's like he's your Mercutio or whatever from Shakespeare. Like, Shakespeare's best written character was Mercutio. I don't know how to pronounce, whatever. And he's like, it was so hard for him to cast because it was his best written character. And I think, I don't know about, that comparison, but I do know, like, it's so strange. Why is it that that's the hardest one to cast? Like no one's really stepping up to the plate. I've auditioned a few people. One person was really interested, and I thought they would be perfect for it, but I didn't realize that they're not the person I thought they are, and they played it a bit differently. And when I told them, play it as yourself, they're like, that is how I am. I was like, oh crap, sorry, dude. And I'm like, it's just, man, it's been difficult. Like, I know I could play the character if I was older, but I'm playing the main character. I'm already shooting it, so, and plus I wouldn't want to change. But I just don't understand, like, why is it so difficult to cast him? And then one actress told me, oh, it's just, that character's really, challenging. That's going to be very challenging because there's a lot of dialogue. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't know. Like, something about that kind of depressed me. Like, don't actors do this so they challenge themselves? Is that really the reason that it's challenging? Like, isn't this why actors do it? Because they're wanting to be challenged. And I hear that from actors a lot. Like, yeah, I want to be challenged. Well, I've got a challenging role. It's probably the most challenging role you'll get in a lot of, different role offers. Probably the most challenging one. But it's rewarding because you get to play this guy who's absolutely, like, dominating the scene and just has a presence to them. And maybe that's why they're afraid. They don't feel like they're ready for it. I heard somebody say that an actor was like, I don't think I'm ready to act on film yet because I want to get better as an actor. I'm like, it comes down to this thing of raise your staff and the waters will part. You don't have to be qualified. I'm not looking for someone to be qualified. I'm looking for somebody who's called. And because that is what's going to qualify them. I'm realizing that now. This film, ever since I had a scare on my short film, I had an actress 2 weeks before filming. They started getting cold feet and saying that they couldn't do this project or this project, and I was like worried about the short film because that would have changed the course of my life if it didn't go down well. And man, 2 weeks before filming, they're like, oh, I can't do that backup day. Okay. Next day, I can't do that schedule. I have sleep problems. I changed the entire schedule in the backup schedule. And then the third day in a row, it was, oh, do I get my own bedroom and bathroom because I have sleep problems? I'm like, and then I was like, I can't do this, man. Like, you really gonna do this to me? Like, you know what you're doing. Like, these people, either they know what they're doing or they don't, or they know and they don't care. You can't work with people like that. It's just, you're gonna end up with more white hair in your beard. And I mean, that's what happens to me. And so I just I ended up having 3 actresses who could fill the role within 3 hours for the whole week. And I cast the person who was definitely needed to be cast, and that was awesome. That was a blessing, actually. It's funny. I think there was a moment where God was probably trying to warn me about that person, and I completely missed it. I know exactly what happened that makes me think that. I was leaving the meeting with them for the first time, and Kanye's Jesus Walks came on, and it's like, devil's trying to break me down. I'm just like, what's God trying to say right now? And I was just like, all right, yeah, I don't know. Figured out what that was. But, I mean, who knows what that was. It could have been a coincidence. But, no, it was definitely a sign. Definitely. But, after that moment, I decided, you know what? I'm not casting people who I feel called to cast necessarily, or who I really want. Like I remember watching a documentary about this director doing the Dune movies, but the ones that fell apart, Jodorowsky or something, Victor. What, I'm not even sure what his name was. But his Dune movies fell apart, and he was like courting different actors to be in the film, like trying to get these big names, and it's like, that's disgusting. Like, you know what? Stop chasing people. Don't chase actors. No one needs an actor, okay? Even if they pull big numbers, I want to make movies where the movie's the star. That's what don't be that director who needs big name actors to, like, get people interested in your movie. If you can make great movies without big name actors, all right, you know what? Like, even Nolan, he will have big name actors for his films. But you know what? Is that going to be like? Is that always going to be like? Is that something I can do? No, it's not. So I'm not even going to worry about it. But I know from like if you're trying to get started making movies, you got to make movies with what you got. And I really like the strategy of hire the actors who feel called to work with you. There's actors out there, you can tell when you can sense that they really want to work with you. They have this calling. They might not be the most qualified. They might not be the person who can play the character the best. But that is the person you're supposed to cast. You're not supposed to cast the person who can play the character better than anyone because they fit what you imagine. You're supposed to hire the person who feels the most called to your role or your film, or you, especially you. If you can find actors who are like, I just want to work with you no matter what, like, that's your group, dude. And when you make that shift, if you can stop cowtailing to people who don't really care much to work on your films or work with you, which I sometimes make that mistake, but I try to correct it when I do. If you stop cowtailing to them and just hire the people who come to you when you put a casting call out, or when you put a thing out on Instagram or social media that among the people you work with, if you can try it, you may not have that luxury. That took me years of like networking, meeting a bunch of people, expanding my followers of people who are in the pond that I exist in with filmmaking in Philly. When you do that, when you make films that are about, when you're trying to attract people who are called to work with you, that is far better than just pursuing people who you feel called to, because it's going to make your life easier if they feel called to you. Like, you're not going to be able to court all the people you want. You're not going to be able to, sometimes you might not even be able to court one person. And the stress of like, oh, I have to appease this person to work on my film. No, you're giving them an opportunity. And if they don't see it, then that's their problem. That's not your problem. It shouldn't be your problem. once you fix that paradigm shift, or you have that paradigm shift and you fix that approach, then your life becomes much easier. It becomes less stressful. You end up getting to a place where you're like, okay, I know my worth. I know the worth of my film, the projects I'm doing, and I don't have to put up with this. You know, when you know that, and sometimes you're gonna make mistakes or missteps, and you're gonna hire someone thinking that they're called to you, but they're not. But when you find the people who are called to you, oh man, it makes your life so much easier. Now, why do I bring this up? I'm looking for someone who feels called to play Darius. I don't want to hire someone because they're what I want. I want somebody who's like, I have to play this. And it might take me a while to find that person. But when I do, it's going to feel right. It's going to be like, oh, I'm so glad I waited. And it's kind of like, man, same with dating or marriage. You know, I'm in a place now where I'm like, you know, I'm not rushing. I'm not really thinking about it as much as I used to. I used to think about it a lot. I still think about it. But I'm at a place now where I'm like, oh, you're telling me that, like, if I just go through life praying to God, listening to Him, letting Him guide my steps, which I've been doing this last year, and I tell you, my life is more joy-filled and going better than it was before. Like, I'm facing challenges and adventures and mountains that I never thought I'd climb. When you just focus on those, on God and Him, you know, directing your steps, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. You know, He's gonna, if He has someone in mind for you who's right for you, He's gonna direct you to them. And I have faith that, like, when I go through my life, when I find that person, that it'll just click, you know? And I think one of the biggest fears I've had is that I had to force something to click. Now, one of the things that, you know, you would bug me about this advice is, and this is not really about acting, but I'll bring it back to it. This is just about marriage and Christian marriage. Like, you know, you see a lot of people, Christians, on YouTube videos about finding your spouse, and some people are in their 40s or 50s, and they're like, yeah, I'm still waiting. And I wonder, like, okay, it's kind of like that story where God sends, during a flood, sends this woman like a helicopter, a boat, all this stuff, like a life raft, all sorts of things. And then she goes to heaven because she drowned, and she's like, why didn't you help me? I was waiting for a miracle. And He's like, I sent you all those things. Now, if maybe that is a thing where, like, you need to be mindful of, like, oh, God brought you dating apps to find someone. Maybe. But I just get a sense of, like, I'll know when to use them. I will pray to Him and let Him guide me. You know, I will find the direction I'm going. But last thing I want to do is grab the pen and write my story and go where He doesn't want me to go. And right now, I think, like, just like with finding this actor for Darius, just like with you know, it's the same with finding a spouse or finding a partner. You know, you will find that person, and it's going to be someone who you feel called to, who feels called to you, and that's what you should be looking for. Now, when it comes to acting, like, you do need to actively search out, and for finding a spouse, I'm at a place where I'm like, I'm not even searching right now. I'm like I mean, yeah, I have to train my brain to not think about it, but, like, I'm kind of at a place of, like, I just want to be focused absolutely on my work right now. And, like, someone will have to, like, really shock me out of my trance of working on my work to, like, look up and be like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, I think, and I think that's the best way to meet someone, is where you're not even looking. You're just focused on doing your work. You're, which I need to get better at, like not looking. You know, you're focused on your work, and suddenly, whoa, who's this person? You know, it happens. But yeah, I think when it comes to the finding the actor, I do need to seek him out and reach out to people, but I need to stop being anxious. It's kind of like the Matthew 6:33 thing. I think before that he mentions, like, look at the flowers or the lilies of the field, how they don't toil nor spin, and even Solomon wasn't arrayed, you know, in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. And what that means is, like, Solomon was arrayed by God with great things and amazing things, but not as much as those flowers, dude. And those flowers don't toil, they don't spin. They just do what God intends them to do. And that's what I need to do, is get better at doing what God intends me to do. And yeah, everything will be fine. I'll find my actor. But yeah, I'm struggling right now to find that actor. If you're somebody who's looking to play a 40s, 50s, or 60s screenwriting teacher who's washed out and just, you know, tries to be a narcissist and tell his students how things are and change everything about their work, and in the end, you know, finds out that he was a wannabe, who somebody had this conversation with him, and he sold his soul and wants to come back to being himself, then let me know. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful. If there's anything I can do to help you, serve you in some way, make a video to do that, or anything, leave a comment below. I want to get better at serving people and use this channel as a means to do that. You know, let me know your thoughts on any of these topics, these things I've talked about. I do these videos as I go through my journey of writing and directing narrative films. Honestly, I don't know what'll come of this channel. I check it sometimes, it's got like 0 to 5 views, and it's like, whatever. But it's what I've always wanted to make. I've always wanted to create a resource that I could have used, especially in the regard of, like, there's so many aspects of filmmaking that require, you know, embracing uncertainty, which is something I didn't realize I struggle with, and it has to do with OCD. Like, there are so many aspects of it, and once you realize, okay, it's kind of like the biblical thing of, like, you have to raise your staff for the waters to part. You have to go, and, you know, the impossible can happen, but you have to go start. You have to get started, silly goose. Get started. Walk. Be a silly goose and walk out into the waters. I'm telling you, they will part. But you got to get started. You got to actually do the work. And that truck is farting over there. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful for you. You know, comment if you need any help with anything, and I'll do my best. Pray you have a blessed day. Thank you for watching. Later. Bye.